If you ever wanted to speedrun your child having an Oedipus complex, you know, the one where they have certain romantical feelings to their parent of the opposite sex, look no further than some of the TikToks we're going to be looking at today. Somewhere in a distant world, another dimension maybe, Freud is over the moon. He's probably doing tricks on it, he's so happy. Because long gone are the days of being taught, you know, keep your hands to yourself and don't do things to people you wouldn't want done to yourself. And now it's just go around and slap your legal guardian on the ass, you know? That's a great thing to teach children, that you can just go around slapping people on the bum, because they're not incredibly impressionable creatures that can't really critically think, so they'll probably do this elsewhere, e.g. at school. But yes, today we're looking at boy mums. And no, not all of them are going to be based around Freud's theory that, you know, little children sometimes have romantical feelings towards their parents of an opposite sex, but rather sometimes it's just the mother's obsession with their young boy and how they can sometimes end up treating them like their partner, which is weird, but it's also probably deep rooted in misogyny somehow. So let's get into it and unpack it all in this video, shall we? So this was like the first video I came across that kind of kickstarted my want to do this whole video, and it basically summarizes so clearly what a boy mum is.
I never thought that I would be that toxic boy mum. I love my 4 kids equally, but that last little boy just hits different. He hits his sisters, he punches them. I'm like, maybe he's having a hard day. So when I think about my daughters getting married, I get excited, right? Think about their dresses, planning their weddings. When I think about my son's wedding, I want to cry.
You know, any parent that starts their sentence with, I love my 4 children, but it's gonna be the most outrageous, unhinged sentence on the internet. Of course, it's on TikTok of all platforms, a place where there's no logic and sense anymore. You can't say but in this sentence, because imagine what it's gonna be like when your children see this in like 10 years time, whatever, when they see like, oh, mum, so you clearly just like the boy more than us. Gee, thanks, mum. No wonder I've got crippling mummy issues and parental issues now in my life, and I look for these figures in far older partners. This is directly your fault, mum. So that was the first part I thought was wild. And then this part where she condones her child smacking his sisters. Why? Because he's the boy. He's a special little boy. He can do no wrong. Yes, he can. He's being violent. This is the sort of behavior you need to stamp out very young. It's not okay to hit people. Like I said earlier, what happened to teaching children, keep your hands to yourself? I remember teachers would always say this to us when we're younger, mainly because we're like picking our nose and then like wiping on other kids. But you know, you shouldn't be going around hitting people. It's deranged, it's weird. And then she goes on to say when she thinks about her daughters getting married, she's happy, but when her son gets married, she's sad, she can't take it. He's mine, he's my boy. She'll probably like run up on stage, or I don't know how people get married, but you know, it's not a theatrical performance. I object. But she probably will object, and she'll be seething, and nobody will be good enough for her little boy. Your little boy does class A's and skins the local cats in the community, and it is directly your fault for how you decided to bring him up as this perfect little Pete that couldn't do no wrong, but that perfect boy is deeply flawed. This is what a boy mum is. They basically glorify their son, and in their eyes he can do no wrong, and their daughters, well, they're in the boy's shadow. He is the perfect child, and you gotta wonder why that is. But it's misogyny. It's gotta be misogyny, right? It's that like classic misogynistic patriarchal view that like the man is the one that's like the head of the house. He can do no wrong because he is leading the way, and that little boy is gonna grow up to be her man that leads the way, which is weird because he's her son. It's weird and it's odd, but like I don't want to just demonize this woman because she's not the only one exhibiting this sort of behavior and view of her child. I think lots of mothers have fallen susceptible to this deep-rooted misogyny, and they're not even aware they're part of it, if that makes sense, because it's so widespread in society that everyone's just like, oh yeah, this is normal. Man is caregiver, man is main earner, man will grow up to be big strong boy that fights and probably skins cats because you were weird with him as a child. But yeah, you kind of see what I'm trying to say in a jokey silly way. And you know this is gonna just have so many knock-on effects for this boy. When he's not skinning cats, he's literally going to be looking for his mum in his next girlfriend. If she permanently thinks the sun shines out of his ass and he can do no wrong, he's gonna want to look for a woman that never calls him out, and the only person that's not gonna call him out for his shit is gonna be his mum. I'm sorry your band's crap, Jacob, and you can't really sing. Kind of sound like an annoying MT student on every song you make, but someone's got to be honest with you, and your mum's not gonna do it, but Wendy will. Jacob, you can't sing. And then, he'll just go home and go back to having late night spooning sessions with his mum. Very weird. Stop. Freud would just love boy mums of TikTok. He actually would. But like I said, this is not the only woman exhibiting this behavior with her son. Look, there's this other clip of this woman celebrating her boy doing well in an American football game. And the reason why it went viral is because of this. Like, how she celebrates him doing well is by mounting and hugging him, which is typically a type of hug you only see done with your romantic partner. And, certainly not your mother. Maybe your friends might do that if you're overjoyed to see each other, but not someone like blood related to. It's just a bit weird, really, especially when he's looking kind of like a grown man. I can't really articulate why. When you just see things and you just go, probably not right, is it? Something's going on behind closed doors. That's just a bit odd, a bit uncomfortable, makes you think. And that's the only way I can describe it. And the comment sections on TikTok had an absolute field day with this video. The guy's face in the background, yeah, he's thinking, this is weird. Nobody hugs their mum like that. But he's also probably thinking, I wish that woman would hug me like that. He's got that dog in him. What a boy. No, we're not going to make jokes like that on this channel. That's not okay. I'm just trying to joke around with something that is quite weird and makes me feel a bit uncomfortable. And see, he's putting the face. Maybe that's the American version of the... That's his version. That's his coping strategy, just the 5 mile stare. And another mother commented, I have 6 sons. I've never given any of them this kind of hug. Yeah, it's important to implement boundaries with children because then they'll grow up to have proper friendships and relationships with boundaries. You shouldn't just be over familiar with your child because then they'll be over familiar with everyone else when they grow up. And that can have real detrimental effects for them when they're trying to form friendships and relationships. They're gonna grow up to be one of those people being like, oh my gosh, why does everyone think I'm flirting with them? Well, when you say hi to them, you mount them with this crazy hug and then smother their face with kisses. It's weird. This is why I'm a firm believer in keep your hands to yourself. And then again, to be fair, I'm probably like the polar opposite of this. I'm not touchy-feely at all. If I don't know someone and they, try and hug or interact with me in a tangible way, I freeze up. I'm like a cat. Obviously, with people I know pretty well, I'm happy to hug them. But yeah, this would be my nightmare. But then again, I suppose it's because maybe my parents didn't do this as a child. So the thought of my parental figures doing this to me would blow my mind. Yeah. So yeah, lots of the comments were just dunking on this mum for just being weird. Then someone did comment this and I thought it was a bit out of pocket. Too many single mums with only one son treat their son as they would a spouse. There was a huge study in psychology about this creepy behavior. I did do some research into this and this whole phenomenon is called emotional incest, and it's where the legal guardian treats their child on an emotional level like a romantic partner. These legal guardians expect their child to fulfill their emotional needs in a way that a partner would. And I suppose he's thinking it could be like this because, the mother's hugging her son in a very affectionate way that you would be with your partner, But unlike physical incest, this doesn't involve anything of a sexual nature, of course. It's purely emotional. And apparently children that experience this emotional incest can have problems in their own relationship. And it's kind of like that joke I was unintentionally made earlier about, that person that always thinks everyone's flirting with them. But I do empathize with them because if, this is the behavior that is so normalized in your household, this, over familiarity with everyone, I can see how you would bring it out into the open world. And, it could lead to relationship problems because your partner would be like, well, why are you flirting with John from accounting? And you'd be like, I'm not flirting with John from accounting. This is how I thought how you treat, people you get along with. And then no boundaries. Everyone has different boundaries. And the whole thing ends in a sticky one. And then you're on TikTok doing dances and being like, I didn't need him anyway. And then he's doing those cringy TikToks being like, she's down, I'm up, I'm in the gym. He basically becomes a gym cell or something awful. Everyone loses in that situation. There's no winners except the mum because she probably gets her child back that she was over familiar with. Anyway, let's avoid that scenario. But I did kind of just think this comment was kind of lame. Yes, I think this is very weird, but we shouldn't generalize this woman and make these sweeping assumptions about her. Maybe this is like a one-time thing. Hopefully, maybe we can pray. And it was a big game and she got caught up in the emotions. She didn't know how to express her emotions, so she just ran and jumped on him. Maybe she watched a movie the night before where that happened. I don't know. I'm just trying to show both sides. I don't want anyone to be completely demonized. I'm sure she's a adequate mother. Look at this mother with her boys. God wants them to experience true love. So what you're saying, you can't experience that with a girl? This goes back to my point that this is all deep-rooted in misogyny. It's cropping up again. That old chestnut, we can't escape it. Look what we've done, society. Misogyny has done it again. And of course, the comment section had a field day with this as well. So unfair for the daughters, which, it's a fair point. If she does have any daughters, seeing that, you would just be like, oh, my mother does not like me like she likes her sons. I always wondered why Jimbo got cookies and warm milk at night. It's just not fair. And the creator of this TikTok replied, I'm so confused why this is so hard to understand for some people. Is it? I feel it's not a stretch at all. It's quite easy to understand. I feel it's a pretty odd thing to say, right? And then like another boy mom commented beneath this saying, until his girlfriend, then he will forget you. Are you speaking from experience, Alicia? Why are you so peed that your child has grown up to be a functional member of society and got a partner? That's kind of like a big part of life, right? Is getting partners. For a lot of people, you know, end up courting and dating and getting a long-term partner. So as a parent, you would want them to do that, right? Because it's like one of these big normal things people go off and do. If they didn't do that and they just stayed in your house all day and they were a recluse, then you've probably done something wrong as a parent. So the fact that they're not doing that, so it's just, it's a good thing. And you shouldn't be upset by that. TikTok really is filled with these boy mums just perpetuating this behavior that their son is this perfect little being with no flaws. And I guarantee in 15 years time, your son will be the direct reason so many cats go missing in your local area. If you treat him like this, if you treat someone like they're flawless, they're gonna develop the weirdest God complex in the world. And when he's not drawing weird pictures of you and him and skinning the local cats, he's just gonna be horrific to be around and not a well-rounded individual at all. And you may be, if you're a boy mum watching this, you're thinking, what does he know? He's a boy and he's not a mum. How could he ever talk on the experience of being a mum? Yes, you're so right. Maybe I am just using logical and some critical thinking, but let's hear from an actual mother of TikTok. You know, one of the sane ones.
Can we stop with the weird trend saying that like your son growing up is like a breakup? This is my second of 2 sons. The entire purpose of my job is to get them to leave. Not like never talk to me again, but like leave and be self-sufficient and independent and like maybe find a partner.
You see, it's not just me. This is what sane thinking looks like. You should want your child to grow up and, you know, get married. You shouldn't feel angry that your child wants to get married. And you certainly shouldn't let your child hit your other children just because he's a boy, you big weirdo. But for realsies, I do want to stress, the blame is not really on the mums. Yes, they are saying some weird things and maybe conducting themselves wrong, but are they, you know, the original cause of this problem? No, it's definitely deep rooted in the misogynistic tendencies that are perpetuated in society. You know, like your son's like this little mighty man that's one day going to be this great big provider. He can do no wrong because he's a leader. And also, like, as we looked into briefly earlier, parents who do lack a good, healthy support network, you know, ones that may be single, divorced, or in an unhappy marriage, may put some of that emotional responsibility onto their child because, you know, they've got to displace it somewhere. And little Jimbo, well, just so happens to be him. But just because that is the case doesn't mean we should demonize single moms and stuff like that. That is super problematic and lame. Like, for example, the first woman we looked at is not a, you know, single mom with only a boy. She also has daughters as well. So this can happen to anyone. Basically, just don't be weird. Please don't do this. If you got to raise a boy, just raise him to be good and not skin cats, and don't get upset when he dates. Be happy that you've raised a functional person. Otherwise, you end up with a son like Dylan Dennis, a horrible incel man that harasses women on the internet. Super cringe, super lame. Don't be like Dylan. Be like, who's a good man? Yeah, anyways, this has been your boy Cowder's Live, jumping into the weird and wonderful world of boy mums. What a wild one. If you've enjoyed this, please, you know, subscribe and like the video. And drop a comment down below with what your thoughts on boy mums are. Trying to grow a community here. We can always have a conversation in the comments. Yeah, anyway, I'll see you in the next video. Okay, bye.